Welcome to Section 3. It's all about the files. In this section, we will learn how to work with, find, change permissions and access to reading and editing files. Working with files. In the last section of this course, we introduced you to Linux files and folders by navigating the file system. In this video here, we will expand our knowledge on this topic, define what a file system is and show you important commands to work with files, such as copying and moving. But what exactly is a file system? It's not only the tree of files and folders exposed to the Linux user, but it's also the structure and management to access and save data and keep everything consistent. As already mentioned, you often hear the phrase that in Linux everything is a file, and this is true. This means a lot of different things in Linux get abstracted as files. For example, a directory is a file, hardware devices get represented by special system files, or useful things, such as a random number generator, is also a file. Let's quickly recap and summarize what we already know about working with files from the last two sections. ls lists and displays files. Touch creates a file. Files are case sensitive, and dot files are hidden files and are excluded from normal command execution, such as the ls command, and also excluded from shell expansion using file globbing characters. Next, you should also already know makedir creates a directory, rmdir deletes an empty directory, rm deletes a file. Makedir-p creates a full subdirectory structure. rmdir cannot be applied on non-empty directories. In our example, it contains subfolders. rm-rf deletes a directory with all the subdirectories, but handle with caution. When you use the rm-rf option to delete a whole directory structure, the R option stands for recursive, F for force. The recursive option is an important option you will often encounter when working with commands that do something for a whole subdirectory tree. Now let's learn some other important new file-based commands. If you need to copy a file, you can use the cp command. We already have seen the general usage of cp. If you go to the man page of the cp command, we already have seen the general usage in the previous video. If you go to the man page, you see that there are three different usage formats. It's important to remember that there can be multiple source directories, but only one target directory. You have to memorize this. To copy one single file to one destination file, you can use the first usage form. To copy several files to one destination folder, you can use the second usage form. The third usage form is like the second usage form with mixed source and directory arguments. For example, to create a copy of a file with a different file name, use. You can also do the same using local path names. As we have learned from the manual, you can also copy files to directories, leaving the original file name. As shown in the manual, you can also do this for multiple source files. Please note that you cannot copy complete directories out of the box using the cp command. In order to do so, you need to provide the -R option. As you see, the complete all-ep home directory has been copied to the /temp directory with all subdirectories and files. Please memorize that the cp-R option stands for recursive again. To move files and folders on the command line, you can use the move command, which implicitly copies and deletes the source files. The move command is often used to rename files and folders. Please note that you cannot only move or rename files, but also you can do this for folders. Now again, if you have a look at the ls-l option, for example in the /etc directory, you will notice some things. You will be presented by a lot of useful information. The first character in the -l listing, here is a D or a minus or a L, and this represents the type of the file. A D stands for directory, a dash is a normal file, and a L is a link. The first character in the ls-l output is also called the file type flag. Besides the shown D, dash and L flags, there exists a number of other available file types. To get a full list of all the available file type flags, use man find, then search for type. Then search for type C. Here you will see the list of all the available file types. Here you will get a full list of all the available file type flags in Linux. Also, there is another very useful information in the third column. This number here is the number of links a file contains. File links tell us how many references exist on any given file or directory. Every normal file by default has one link and every directory has two links. There exist hard links and soft links. In this video we showed you all the important commands to work with files. We showed you that a lot of commands working on subdirectory structures use the -r or recursive command line flag. We learned about the file type flag, which is the first character in the first column in the ls-l command line output. Also an important information is the third column in the ls-l output, which is the number of hard links to a file. Also you learned that there are different file types available on Linux. Normal files, directories and links, as well as device files, pipes and sockets.